Hey, it's Quadex here, and I'm here with another part of What If Naruto was Uzumaki, Senju, and Uchiha. The order's probably wrong, but whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Get this to 100 likes, and I'll upload the next part. Let's get into it. Time skip 3 months. A man had been waving his kunai up at the sky for a while, before Naruto finally placed a gentle hand on his back. "Yet, you done yet?" Naruto asked the man. The man's shoulders shot up, as though Naruto's voice had awaked him from a dream, and he whirled around. "The thing you've been trying so desperately to cut in half is my genjutsu," Naruto said. What?" The man looked at Naruto in confusion. "Do you want to have a dream again?" Naruto asked, his blue eyes icy. The man moaned as he dropped his kunai and cowered at the sight of Naruto's eyes. Have mercy," he begged, tears streaming down his face. Naruto kept looking at him. "Naruto," a voice called from behind. Naruto looked back and saw Shikaku coming towards him with Yujeyo and Hana trailing beside him. "Did you catch him?" Shikaku asked. Naruto nodded and turned his gaze back. Naruto nodded and turned his gaze back to the man coiling on the ground. Shikaku came over to stand in front of the man with a heavy sigh, Hana and Yujeyo behind him. "You can't sneak into the village and misrepresent your history just because you want to be a ninja, you know? That's not how people become ninja." I am sorry," the man apologized. "By the way, the kid's only 10, Shikaku said. "We got kids like this all over the place. That's the world of ninja." The man's eyes widened. A resident of the land of fire had slipped into the village with the intention of becoming a ninja. They were to rescue the man and put the fear of the ninja in him. That was their current mission. It was another D-rank mission, the lowest of all their ranks. Supposedly, according to Shikaku, D-rank missions whittled a genin team into shape. But Naruto couldn't get completely on board with this. It had been 3 months since they had done any decent missions above C rank. The mission to capture Mizuki was the last one, which had been a B rank. Now they were back with their boring D and C rank missions. The routine gave Naruto a growing sense of urgency. Did he really have the time to be doing this sort of thing? There was no way he was actually training himself to master and improve his skills through these sorts of missions. "Way to go, Naru," Yujeya called out, carefully patting his back. She was back to her normal behavior now after she and Hana hadn't talked to him properly and had given him a cold shoulder for a month after his stunt during the Mizuki incident. "Alright, let's head back to the village," Shikaku called out. The three genin nodded and followed him back towards their village. Hokage office. "Excellent work, Team 12, as usual. Another successfully completed mission," Hiruzen said with a smile. After all your continuous missions, I think I'll give you all a 1-week break. Enjoy your time off." They looked at him in surprise, but nodded. Maybe now he would have time to concentrate on improving his skills, Naruto thought, without having to worry about any missions. Just as they were about to leave the office, the Hokage called to them once again. "One more thing, Naruto. There's someone here to meet you." He gave Naruto a slip of paper. Naruto was surprised. Who would be here to meet him? It's not like he knew many people or had outside friends, but he took the paper in his hand and read, and then looked at the Hokage with a raised eyebrow. "Why are you giving me an address for a hot spring, Gigi-chan?" Hiruzen chuckled and shrugged his shoulder before responding. "You'll soon figure out when you get there." Naruto didn't understand, so he just nodded and turned towards his teammates. "I'll see you guys later." With that, he exited the office. Naruto walked towards the location indicated on the paper, still wondering who would come to meet him and why they had to meet at a female hot spring. As he got closer to the hot spring, he heard a strange noise coming from somewhere. He looked around to find the source of it before realizing that the strange noise was coming from behind the hot spring walls. Once there, Naruto saw a tall man sitting on a big toad and looking through the walls into the hot spring while giggling perversely and writing down notes. Who was this guy who was peeping at bathing women? He had never seen him in the village before. Naruto walked up to the man and said, "Excuse me, sir, but this is not appropriate to peep on women while they are bathing." The man waved him away without looking. "Go away. Don't you see I'm doing research?" Naruto tried a couple more times, but the man didn't listen to him. Finally, having enough, Naruto said, "If you don't listen to me, then I'll have to arrest you for your inappropriate behavior." This time, the man turned to look at Naruto with a raised eyebrow. "You're a really funny brat. Tell me your name." Naruto stared at him. "Shouldn't you introduce yourself before asking?" The man grinned and fully turned to face Naruto. Then he started doing some weird kabuki dance in a very dramatic way. "People know me as the Mountain Toad Spirit Sage, who acquires immortality, also commonly called the Toad Mountain Sage." He jumped from the toad head and landed in front of Naruto. Naruto looked at him like he was crazy. "I didn't even get his name," Naruto muttered to himself. The man was a tall and well-built adult with fair skin. He had a wart on the left side of his nose and a waist-length, spiky white hair that he had tied back into a ponytail, with two shoulder-length bangs framing his face. There were red lines under his eyes which extended further down his face. His attire consisted of a green short kimono with matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that was visible at his wrists and ankles. He also wore handguards, a black belt, wooden sandals, and a red haori. He was carrying a large scroll on his back, and he also wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil. "So what is your name, brat? You look a little familiar to me." Naruto looked at him in confusion but introduced himself. "I am Naruto Uzumaki." The man grinned and said, "You're finally here, brat. I've been waiting for you." He walked up to Naruto and looked at him closely. "Look at you. I couldn't even recognize you now." Naruto realized that this was the man that he was supposed to meet here with. But how did this man know him? He had never seen him before. "It seems you don't know me. Hasn't Sarutobi-sensei told you about me?" "I am Jiraiya." Naruto's eyes widened in shock. This was Jiraiya of the legendary Sannin? This man was supposedly his godfather? Naruto had always wanted to meet his relatives, and now he was finally face to face with one. He didn't know what to say or feel. Jiraiya had never forgotten about him in his time away from the village. He was still looking after him in his own way and making sure of his needs and sending money for his expenses. And the Hokage had told him that Jiraiya would come back to him when his mission will be completed. Seeing Naruto's expression, Jiraiya shook his head. He had expected this. He put his hands on Naruto's shoulder and spoke calmly. "Come on, we have a lot to talk about." Naruto and Jiraiya sat on a cliff near a waterfall. And during their conversation, Jiraiya couldn't get a clear read on Naruto. The Hokage had informed him of some of the things about Naruto, and he could see that Naruto had a very sharp mind for his age and a very deep understanding of things around him. But that was to be expected. After all, you didn't graduate from the academy this early if you were ordinary and already on par with Chunins and some Jonins. Jiraiya could clearly see his former student Minato in him and a little bit of Kushina in looks. "So you have any pretty girl in your life, huh?" Jiraiya asked with a perverted grin. Naruto shook his head. I don't have time to waste on such things like that, and besides, I'm still too young for that." Naruto stated with a shake of his head. You really need to open up a bit, Gaki. Naruto changed the topic. Is your mission completed, Jiraiya-sama? That you're back in the village? Jiraiya sighed before he responded. Well, not really. Then he grinned. But I wanted to meet my godson and see what he's been up to. I've heard many things about you. You're making quite a name for yourself. I'm happy that you came to meet me. I always wanted to meet you after Gigi-chan told me about you, and thank you for looking after me even if you're not able to be with me. But is that the only reason you're here? Jiraiya shook his head and stood. No. Now come with me and I'll explain everything in the Hokage's office. Naruto stood too, and Jiraiya put a hand on his shoulder and Chunchin with him, disappearing into the wind. Hokage's office. Hiruzen was sitting calmly doing paperwork when Jiraiya jumped in the office through the window and Naruto followed behind, looking embarrassed at their entry. It's not even a day since you arrived in the village, Jiraiya, and you're already corrupting Naruto with your habits, Hiruzen said with a sigh. Jiraiya grinned and said, I haven't even started yet. Hiruzen just shook his head at Jiraiya's comment. You'll never change. Then he looked at them and asked, so what are you both doing here? Jiraiya got serious. I want to take Naruto out of the village. Naruto looked at him in surprise and Hiruzen sighed. Jiraiya, I told you before, you can't take Naruto with you. It will be dangerous and can attract a lot of unwanted attention, which we don't want at the moment. Also, what about your mission? At least let me finish, Sensei, Jiraiya said. I have found Tsunade's location and I thought it would be good for both Naruto and Tsunade to meet. That woman is drowning in sorrow at the loss of her family and not even aware that her nephew is still alive. I thought it would be good to take the brat to meet her. It won't take too long, so you don't have to worry about anything. Also, it'll give me the chance to teach some wonderful things to Gaki on the road. Jiraiya said the last part with a grin. Hiruzen's expression remained serious. Are you sure that you can find her? I am 100% sure. That's why I'm here in the first place, Sensei, Jiraiya stated. Hiruzen nodded after thinking for a moment. Alright, you have my permission to take Naruto. I will inform his squad leader. On the road. Okay guys, I'm gonna be ending it here. I'll see you in the next part. Bye. By the way, I'm uploading my new series. Bye.